Guys, good morning. Happy Thursday. It's Daryl here. It's 5 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. It's a little bit of a different video, but I encourage you all to stick with me. It's going to be an interesting video. Even if you don't have a problem with drugs and alcohol, a good portion of this country have loved ones, friends, family, relatives that do have a problem with drugs and alcohol. I get to ask this question so often, and it's a hard question to answer. How did I do it? I've been clean since October 23rd, 2006, completely clean and sober. You know, the obvious answer is you've got to want it. I thought of one of the main pieces of advice I could give you guys, and a lot of you aren't going to like it. Let me fill you in on something I used to do. Every so often, this is when I was using it. It's not something I'm proud of, but it's the truth. And this is going to explain why, if you really want to get clean and sober, or if you want one of your relatives or friends or family, loved ones to get clean and sober, that this is the main piece of advice I got to give to you. What I used to do, and what all my fellow people using used to do, or even alcoholics will do this too. Every so often, you know, you'd be at the bar or be out using or whatever, and you'd hear, hey, so-and-so got clean. You know, you wouldn't see him around for a while. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, at that point in my addiction, it wasn't about the camaraderie or the friendship. The only reason I cared or we talked about this is because it was one less person to throw in money or drugs to give to the rest of us. That's all that mattered. Now I'm going to tell you guys the truth. After a while, most of these people that got clean and sober would miss their friends, and you would see them again. You know, they'd get out for one night, they'd get away from their wife or their girlfriend or their family, and they decide to go back and see the people and hang out with them just for one night, just because they're my buddies. You know, hey, they're still my friends, right? And they would go back, and we would see somebody we hadn't seen in weeks or months or even years, right? And I used to love this, and this is what I used to do. Immediately, I'd pal up to the person, and I'd always say, yeah, you know, I want to get clean too. How'd you do it? And I tried to get uptight, you know, up close with them and everything. And there was one purpose to this, is because I knew that they had been clean for days, weeks, or months, and they would have money that I could use them for. I'm not proud of this, but I did this every single time, and so did every single person using around me used to do this. When somebody that had gotten clean and sober came back in our circle, you know, just for a night, just bumped into us or whatever, for an hour, a few minutes, addicts or alcoholics will do this. A lot of them won't admit it, but they'll do this. You know, they'll seem sincere. Hey, I haven't seen you in a long time. Let's catch up, man. I care. You know, dude, where you been? And there's one thing on their minds. It is to use the money that this person has saved. Because we know people that are addicts, we know that once you're in recovery, you start to save up money. And that's the sole purpose. That's the sole purpose of having this person come back around, is to use them for money, to encourage them to relapse so that you could use their money. Because you know, most addicts only got $20, $10, $20, maybe $40 on them at any given time. But somebody that's been in recovery probably saved up a couple $100 or more. Ooh, it's going to be a good time in the old town tonight if we can get this guy back in. It's disgusting, but I swear to God, this happened. I admit it. It's something that's embarrassing and I'm not proud of, but it's the truth. And if anybody tells you different, they're not being honest with you. The biggest piece of advice I can give anybody out there is stay away. Avoid. Get this in your mind from your first day clean. If you see anyone that you used to use with, no matter if it was your best friend, no matter if it was your fiance, your girlfriend, whatever, avoid them. Know what to do. If you see them in a car, if you see them out. I was going through the park on my bike one day, and I saw a car in the morning with 4 guys in it. Right off the bat, I knew these guys haven't even slept all night. They're over there using right now. I knew that right away. And I had in my mind, I already knew what I was going to do. Get away. Don't even go to that car. Sure enough, I heard, hey, Daryl, dude, come on over. Hey, what's up? Come on over. No, gotta go, man. And from about, maybe about a couple 100 feet away, as soon as I saw him, I turned and left. That's what you gotta do. It's not an easy thing to do. And this will happen over and over again. You have to stay away from the people you used with, regardless if they're relatives, family members, loved ones. They now need to be out of your life. This is my truth. You want to know how I did it? That's how I did it. Don't take their phone calls. Do not believe them. If they say they're clean, don't believe them. Even if they are clean. I'm going to leave you guys with one more story. I'd been clean for about 6 months. And I knew this other guy had been clean for over a year. I missed hanging around with him. We had a lot of good times. And I was driving by where I used to live, and I decided to stop by. Hey, just see how he's doing. We're both clean and sober. Right? This is one other little piece of, put a pin in that. One other little piece of advice. Before you go and do something like this, ask yourself, what possible good could come out of this? All right, I wish I had done that. All right, pull the pin back out. Going back, so I go over to the guy's house. All right, we're both happy to see each other, happy that the other guy is clean and sober. Turns out he needed a ride somewhere. I gave him a ride, and he said, dude, I'm going to go my own way. I got to go to work. It's good to see you. And I could tell he wanted the best for me. I dropped him off at work and I drove away. He didn't do anything to encourage me to use. But as soon as I dropped him off, I went right into the neighborhood where I used to pick up, and I relapsed. And I'll tell you why. When we were sitting there in that car, I heard his laugh. Just that laugh and the look on his face. And something in my head, it was a trigger. It's what you call a trigger. And don't try to tell yourself this won't happen to you, because it will. And there was something in my head that missed that laughter. There's been times where I actually missed the dealers that used to use me for money every day. Still to this day, I'll smell something in the kitchen. They'll remind me of like Goya beans cooking when I used to go by in Hispanic neighborhoods and stuff. And I almost reminisce. You have to know your weaknesses. You have to know your triggers. Ask yourself, what good can come of this? None. Your brain, your addiction is deceiving you. It's changing the story that you think you really missed something good, and it's not. It's just your addiction trying to come back out, trying to create a false narrative of what really happened and the hell that you lived, and turn it into something that you really missed. It wasn't that bad. You gotta stay away from friends, family, anyone you used with. This one girl I knew, one of the girls I loved, I've probably loved about 4 women in my life, really, really loved. And this was one of them that I lived with. She went to jail for 7 years. And during that time, I got clean and sober, and it gave me time to think. And when she got out, she was clean and sober, but she tried to find me. And she would pop up on my bike ride. She'd pop up at a Dunkin' Donuts that I go to, and I would walk away. I would drive away. So finally, at one point, she was parked in front of my house. And she's like, Daryl, I just want to say hi. And I said, I can't talk. I can't do this. I can't do this right now. And I drove away. It was hard. It was one of the hardest things I ever did. But I had to do it. And it wasn't because she's a bad person. It's because she's a trigger to me. Sooner or later, just a laugh, a sound, a smell, anything will be a trigger for me, and I'll relapse. It's not that they're bad people, although they might be, like I said about using people for money. If you want to get clean and sober, stay away from anyone you used with, no matter how big a part of your life they were. Change your phone number. These are things you have to do. There was one other thing that I wanted to tell you guys. I can't remember what it was now, but that's my advice for you guys. It's a hard thing to do, but pretty soon you will make new contacts that are clean and sober. You'll learn what real friendship is. You'll learn what real love is without addiction being a part of it, and real intimacy, because that became a huge part. I couldn't be intimate without the drugs, and it's a whole new great world once you get clean and sober. So that's my advice to you guys. I wish I could remember that one last thing I was going to talk about. I'll be back with another video later. You guys have a great Thursday.